Hey guys, it's me again today with another video. And I told you last time, I think it was about last week or so, that I wanted to tell you why I really love the deadlift. Among all those lifts that you can perform, I love the deadlift the most. And the reason being is because I find it to be the most masculine lift of all of them. Because what you have to keep in mind is, what you do with the deadlift basically, especially if you go for your 1 rep max, is pulling the highest weight possible off the floor or off the ground. And who's really the strongest person in the world? Well, the strongest person in the world is the person that can deadlift the highest weight, right? It's also what Eddie Hall, who's currently still the best deadlifter in the world, it's also what he said. It's like the strongest man is always the man who pulls off the highest weight off the floor, right? And this makes perfectly sense, because when you are in nature, right? And let's say you are walking in a mountainous region and you have a rock there, and this rock is in your path and you need to put it aside in order for you to continue your path, right? You have to lift it up and put it aside, or even throw it aside if you can, right? So in nature, you will never ever find lifts being ready for you. So a bench press, for example, is of course a high achievement if you can, like, for example, do 750 like Julius Maddox did on the bench, which is the unofficial world record. I mean, he also holds the real world record for the highest raw bench press in the world. But nevertheless, when you do a bench press or even a squat, the weight is already set in front of you, right? It's set and ready for you to lift it. It's not like that you have to lift it up, get it into position, and then perform your squat or even your bench, right? So that's completely different from a deadlift. The deadlift really means like you have a rock, you have whatever kind of weight in front of you lying on the floor, and you need to lift it in order to overcome the obstacle, right? And just imagine you are in nature and there is this huge rock, and the only way for you to escape from your enemy, for example, or to reach your goal, your final destination in time, is to get this rock out of the way. Well, what you have to do then is, of course, you have to deadlift it. Means, okay, maybe this rock is too heavy for you to really deadlift it, like really get it above the floor, above the ground, right? But still, if you can just put it a little bit under pressure and lift it a little bit, just maybe a millimeter or so, and you can therefore set it aside, you have achieved a great feat of strength. And therefore, the deadlift is the most masculine, the most difficult lift of all of them, because so many muscles come into play when you want to deadlift real heavy weight. It's not just your hands and your grip, it's also your biceps, your triceps, your shoulders, your chest, your neck, your traps, your core, of course, and your legs and your back and everything else. So the most prestigious lift of them all is obviously the deadlift, and that's why I like it so much. And the second reason, besides this philosophical or spiritual point of view, right? The second reason why I love it so much is simply because it's the lift that gives me strength in all of my body parts. So when I proceed in deadlifting, my arms become stronger, my hands become stronger, my neck becomes stronger, my chest becomes stronger, my core strengthens, everything strengthens. And that's something you cannot really achieve with a bench press, because the bench press is a perfect upper body work or exercise, but it's not really for your lower body. And the squat is sort of something in between. It's good for the upper body and also good for the lower body, but as I said, the weight is already set in place, and you simply have to let it take you down slowly and come up slowly again, right? It's already set in place. It's not like you have to lift it up and then squat the weight. No, the weight is already there, and you simply have to move down and then up again. So the deadlift is something really special, and therefore I like it so much. And everybody who has at least once in their life performed a deadlift will agree with me, I think, because when you're performing the deadlift, it's like you're talking to your ancestors. You're talking to those warriors and those gladiators and those strength athletes of the past, because they all had to do a deadlift in certain areas of their training. Deadlifting is really the heaviest of them all, but because I love it so much, it's always enjoyable for me. So even if I have to rest, as I said, 7 to 10 days after a strong deadlift session, I enjoy it so much, because I know from each training session with the deadlift I get so much benefit in return, and it helps me with martial arts, it helps me with my bench, it helps me with my squats and with everything else. Also for my grip training, of course. I mean, I said it's sort of vice versa, or it's like getting stronger in grip means also you're getting stronger in the deadlift, but it also works the other way around, right? And therefore I just want to suggest for all of those people who say, okay, what is the lift I should really focus on? Which is the lift that I should really let's say master, right? It's definitely the deadlift. Bench pressing is cool, and most of us think like the bench press is sort of the most masculine one because it's the most popular lift, but it's not really the most masculine one because, as I said, the weight is already set in place. And for those of you who have ever tried a bench press with dumbbells, you will automatically know what I mean, because if you doing a dumbbell bench press, it's extremely different from a normal bench press, because you have to pick the weight up. So you have to deadlift the weight first, then put it on your knees, then go back slowly so that you are in the position of benching the dumbbells. And this needs stability, this needs strength. And then when you are on your back and you want to deadlift it, it's also even more unstable because you have 2 bars now in your hand and not simply 1. So doing a dumbbell bench press is much harder than a barbell bench press. And just for you to get an idea why I focus so much on the deadlift, right? That's the reason why. And what I did today was no deadlift, nothing like that at all. I did some floor barbell presses. And the reason why I like floor presses so much is, first, it stops the range of motion. So when you go down, you do not overexpand your chest like you would do with the bench press. So it's not like that, it's more like that, right? So you cannot hurt yourself, no matter how much resistance you put on the bar, no matter how much weight you put on the bar, you cannot hurt yourself because it's not fully expanded. And therefore, you also use more of your chest than without the floor press, than with the bench presses alone. And you also use, of course, more of your arm strength. And that's the reason why powerlifters train floor presses as well, and not only bench presses, which they have to do at the competition. No, they do floor presses as well, just to strengthen the basic chest they have and to get also stronger in your arms, right? And this movement here, where you overexpand the chest, gives you, of course, more strength because you're using the whole tissue of your chest muscles, right? But it can also be very dangerous for you if the weight is too heavy for you, and therefore you might rip your chest muscles, and then you have to undergo surgery, which is, of course, not something very how to say it, very something very beautiful or very nice, not enjoyable at all, because you never know after surgery whether your breast muscle, your chest muscle, sorry, we're not women, whether your chest muscle will come back as strong as before. So I hope this video clears why I like the deadlift and why I love it so much. And I encourage you, all of you guys who have never done anything like this before, to follow me and to at least try the deadlift once with a moderate heavy weight if you are a beginner, and then maybe after a week or 2 with a slightly heavier weight, so that you get a feel of why I love it so much and why it's so beneficial for your body, right? So yeah, have a good one.